Okay, today we're gonna tie a bass popper. And it's basically gonna be, I think it's pretty similar to what I found it was just like called a lefty's popper, which was basically just like a wine cork, some kind of hackle or chenille, and a bucktail tail. This right here is my most productive popper where I fish. And unfortunately, I can't find any more of those popper bodies. So if you know where some of those popper bodies are, let me know in the comments because I would buy a bunch of those. Um, but what I did find were these Surface Seducer, these Howitzer heads, and also their double barrel heads. And we can get pretty close. I don't think the fish will care. But I got a size 2 Mustad popper hook in the vise and some 140 Denier thread in Chartreuse because Chartreuse has been my best color for these poppers. Now I've tied some of these, I've tied some of the double barrel with hackle legs and marabou tails and rubber legs, and this plain one has always been the best. Like I said, we're just going to use Chartreuse Bucktail for that tail. And get a pencil-sized clump. Doesn't have to be a whole bunch because we're going to put more than nothing because we're going to grab the tips and strip out all the small fibers. So we're only left with, you probably only have half as much when you're done pulling all those fibers out. You can, and I will here, you can try to give it a quick stacking if you can get that bucktail to cooperate. Not completely necessary, but it kind of tidies it up a little bit, and then you can still kind of pull out some of those fibers that are kind of going where you don't want them to. So everything's kind of going in the same direction. But do that for Daisy. And then a tail about a hook shank and a half. You have a nice bushy tail there. And those butts off at an angle. And just get everything lashed down. with this hook, right about where it's bending on that popper hook is where we're gonna finish everything. Because when you put the head, the popper head on, it comes back to about there. And then there is, zoom out real quick. There is about what we got for the tail. For the body on this fly, on my original one I used an Estaz, but this FNF UV jelly in Hulk really looks nice. I think it's a little bit bushier and maybe moves a little bit better in the water. So I figured I would give it a try. Especially since I was changing everything else up on this fly, why not do that as well? Strip some of those fibers out of there so you can get a nice thin tie-in point all the way back to the tail. Bring your thread up. I like to try to have those fibers kind of laid back as I wrap. Does any of this stuff ever really cooperate that well with that? Whether it's the Estaz or this jelly, not really. It's twisted up on itself. Maybe with a rotary vise it would work a little bit better, because then I wouldn't be, then you're not twisting this around, it's going on flat and the fly is twisting. The one thing that I thought was maybe a little funny when I was tying, we're looking at this stuff and thinking about tying this fly is that you basically end up with a blob fly in between the bucktail and the copperhead. Hold those back and try to get a nice tie off point there. Bring my thread all the way up to the front. Do that a couple times. And just somewhere along there, throw in a whip finish. Trim out that thread. Now Now we're ready to put some super glue there on the thread and put the head, popper head on. Just a little super glue. On there. Use the bodkin, puncture a hole through that head. To get this head with that bent hook to kind of not be on there at a weird angle, you do have to put it on there a little bit further and have a little bit of that hook shank coming out the front. I like that. Now with these Surface Seducer heads, they do give you spots to put some eyes. This one takes 6mm eyes, so these are their dragon eyes from Surface Seducer. Our sticky backed eye. When you get them in there, they do hold a little bit, but to really get them to stay there, it's best to have a little bit of little coating of UV resin. This is just bone dry from Solarez. Even with those eyes in there, you can get a little pool of resin on top of the eye, and that's really all you need. A drop of resin that kind of sit on top. That'll make sure that those eyes stay there. See underneath that UV light, that UV jelly really glows. Move the camera over. There you have it. There is a bass popper with that Howitzer head. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward, but it catches bass like crazy. Go ahead and tie some up. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like, drop a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks.